How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Eero Wi-Fi 6 Plus mesh router. I gotta say, I have about 60 separate deployments of Eero mesh devices, from the original Wi-Fi 5 kind up until the Wi-Fi 6 Plus, and I have to say they have been extremely reliable. I haven't had any one of my customers complain. They're always staying up to date. It is just a great product overall, and I am extremely impressed with the Wi-Fi 6 model, hence why I'm making a video today. I have seen this thing boast up to 650 megabits up and down on a gigabit connection, which is crazy. Amazing speeds. I have also have clients where they have about 40 different wireless devices on the network, maybe some hardwired devices as well. Just very reliable. Overall, a great product. And I wanted to run through the setup so you guys can see how it works, and then go through all of the functionality that it has, like a Zigbee mesh. It is a Zigbee mesh router, so you can connect your smart home devices. Also Apple HomeKit support, ad blocking, basic firewall functionality, and a few other things that we're going to discuss in this video today. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. If this video helped you out at all, please give it a like and maybe consider subscribing. If you need any technical support, visit us at TotalTechWNC.com. I'd be happy to help you out with anything UniFi related and any other things. You can check out the website and learn more. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up now, and let's take a look and see what we got inside of it. See if I can get the plastic off with my finger. Yep. Take off the plastic here. Alright, so inside the box, this is how it comes. This is just a single unit. Mind you, they also sell these Eero these Eero units in pairs of 3, so you get one, which is the router unit, which is what this is. Has the 2 Ethernet jacks on the back, and then USB Type-C for power. If you would buy these in a pack of 3, by default, the standard, I want to say it's like $299 or $199. I'll throw pricing up on the screen here. It will come with one of these with the Ethernet jacks, and the other 2 will just have power and no Ethernet. So those are like your satellite units. And let's take a look and see what's in here. This is your power cable, and that's all that's in the box. Put that to the side. You get a little bit of instruction manuals here on the top. Nothing major. And then in the box right on top is your power cable. Nice long one. And then inside of this piece of cardboard here is a white Ethernet Cat 6 cable with some little ties on there. Alright, so that's all that's in the box. So let's just kind of take a look at this thing a little bit closer, which I'm going to put it on the other camera here for you guys. Alright guys, so what we got here is the Eero Mesh Wi-Fi 6 router. On the back here we have those 2 Ethernet jacks with a USB Type-C port. And then on the bottom here you have your serial number and model number information, and then your little reset button here that you just press in like that. And yeah, it's a pretty small, sleek device. There's going to be some additional B-roll up here to just show you a size comparison of what it looks like and what it looks like in person. But yeah, overall, very nice, very sleek, glossy top finish here. Yeah, just overall, good built product. Alright folks, now we're ready to set up the Eero device. I'm going to show some B-roll here of the Eero device connected up. You can connect your Ethernet cable into either one of the Ethernet jacks on the back of the Eero device to get internet connection to it. So now on screen here on my phone, you should see the video footage on screen, and we're going to go ahead through the whole setup process here. So we're new to Eero, and you have 2 options here while you're signing up. You can either connect via Amazon, or you can use your own email or phone number. So that's what we're going to do here. Fill in my name, fill in a phone number, and then an email address. Alright, now it's asking me where I'm located and to agree to the terms and conditions. Awesome. So now it's sending a verification code. Boom. So there we go. We now have entered the verification code, and believe it or not, it will ask you for the verification code every time you go to sign on to the Eero app. So make sure you link it to a phone number or email address that you have access to all the time. So now it's telling me it's time to look for your Eero. Go ahead and press start there. And it's going to give you a couple tips here on how to connect it to your modem if you don't know how to do that already. And now we're looking for gateways. So now I'm going to hold my phone close to the Eero. And boom, there we go, already connected. That was very quick. So now it's going to ask you where you want to put the Eero device. I'm just going to put office for now. And now it's asking me to create a Wi-Fi name and password. So we're just going to call it YouTube test, why not? And I'm going to make it welcome one just because it's real basic. Create network. Now it's saying it is setting up the Eero device. This may take a minute or two. Boom. Now we're up and running. So let's go ahead and press next. And now it's asking me if I have any other Eero devices. If I bought a pack of 3 or I bought up 10 of these, if you got a big enough house, I would press add another Eero device and it will go through the same setup over and over and over again. But for me, that's the only one I got, so finish setup. Alright, so now it's asking if we want to use, it's jumping through a bunch of menus right here. So it's telling me that it just enabled network security, which we're going to go over here in more detail in a little bit. Press next. It wants me to install the latest update. We're going to press install now. And it is going to notify me when it is done. And now it's asking me if I want to connect to Amazon, but I'm not going to do that. And frankly, I never connected to Amazon unless you already have a bunch of Alexa devices. Then it kind of makes sense to, it may tie it all in. So press skip for me. Okay folks, so I scrolled out, I got rid of that screen. The skip button glitched. I got out of that screen by just killing the app and going back to it. And here we go, now it's updating, so I will be back once it is done updating. Alright folks, let's go ahead and get into the Eero app now and all of the functionality that it has. My system is now updated, so let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? You should see the phone on screen now, and on the home page here, this is the home page down here, it is telling you that you have an internet connection up top. You can click on that and you can see your most recent speed test and what time that speed was updated, and your download and upload speed in megabits. You can also run a speed test down below, and it's telling me that, hey, I can run 4K anything. Wonderful. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and click on the Office Gateway Eero here, and it's going to tell me the information about that particular Eero. It's telling me that it has a wired connection. It's telling me the speed, and it's telling me the connected devices, which I then can click on that again and then see all of the connected devices on there. I have my phone. I'm not sure what bedroom came from. That is probably another one of my Apple devices. And then unnamed, which is probably my Apple Watch. Right here is where you can also turn on and off the status light. As you've seen in the B-roll before, you can turn up and down the brightness or just kill it altogether there, which is pretty cool that you can do that. So then down below that is the location name. You can go ahead and change that or set a custom name or set a preset name there. And then you have the IP address of that particular Eero. So by default, it hands out a 192.168.4.1 IP address to the default Eero router. Next is the software version. It's telling me that you're up to date. And then advanced. So that's where you get to your model number, serial numbers, MAC addresses, and this is where you can also restart or remove this particular Eero. So very good, that's it there. This little screen is a little drop down here, which is pretty neat. And up in the top right, the plus button is where you can go ahead and add another Eero device. You can add a phone. It just goes and shows you the password and the Wi-Fi SSID, which is nice because a lot of people forget their Wi-Fi password. So just go up there. There's also another way of seeing your password again if you do forget it. You can also invite a guest or invite an admin to the network. Inviting a guest will prompt you to make a guest network, which is easily turned on and off by just this little check here. And then you can either share a QR code down here at the bottom or share a Wi-Fi device or Wi-Fi details, which is very nice. Back to this plus, let's go ahead and take a look at the network admin. So this is where people can come in and add filters. So maybe if you're a couple, you can have your significant other add them on there. If you have kids, you can block your kids' connections, things like that. All right, so that is it for that little plus button. And right here is prompting me to do some other activities here. You can always follow these if you're setting it up on your own and get what you need done. So let's go ahead and check out the activities page here next. Immediately right off the top here, it is showing me my internet download and upload speed by the speed test that it takes. It's telling me on these second tabs here the data usage actively going through the network. Since I don't have many connected devices, it's not showing me much. And then down below it's showing me security. So the total number of scans that the device has done for threats, and then the number of threats blocked on the right. Since I don't have any, again, nothing's really connected, there's nothing blocking it. And once you have multiple weeks worth of data in here, months worth of data, you can use these arrows up at the top, right and left, to go through all of the activity. So let's check out Discover. So this is where you add extra features and things to your Eero device. So let's check out Aerosecure. This is their subscription plan that Eero has for $9.99 a month. That is where you go. That's where they give you access for advanced security features such as the scan and threat blocking, ad blocking, and then content filters. Like let's say if you wanted to block YouTube or block TikTok or block Facebook, block whatever, you can block it through the content filter. And all of these are just enabled and disabled by the little ticks here. So I can enable ad blocking for network. You can also create profiles, so you can set specific devices to have ad blocking on and specific not. And then content filters, let's create a profile. Let's go through the process here. So continue, we're just going to set kids. And we're going to set my iPhone to that. So go ahead, kids is done. So now it's actually going to give us some preset features here. So depending on how old the person is, you can set adult. So these are all of the allowed categories for this particular filter level. And then if you click on these other ones here, you can see what is blocked and what is filtered. So they do have some excellent presets in here. Let's apply the adult theme here. And boom, so now it's on. So now in the adult content filters, you can go ahead and block custom things. So let's say we wanted to block Discord and block Instagram. We could easily do that here. Press done. Block and allow sites. So this is where you can add custom websites here. Let's add a block site. If you wanted to block reddit.com, you could easily do that right here. Very easy, very handy, very nice. Going down the list here, you can have safe search automatically enabled for the search engines that are listed: Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, and Yandex. Restricted YouTube, so if you wanted to not only have PG rated content, you can enable mature content here. Disable here. You can block dating sites, sexually explicit websites, and gambling. You can block anything related to illegal or criminal activities, and then the same thing for violence. Keep on going down the list. You have the same features for chat and messaging, social media, game shopping, and streaming. And all of that is under the content filters. So going down the list here in Aerosecure one more time, you have your option for block apps, and that's where, again, it's all under the content filters thing. And the same thing for block and allow websites. You can do this globally, or you can do this for specific users. Back to the Discover tab, you can also add Amazon to your account. As you saw earlier, they wanted to link you it when you were making an account. You can always add this again though, and this is where you add, it creates a connected home. Let's read what it says here. So manage compatible devices with Eero's built-in smart hub when available, and use supported voice commands. And then you can also share your Wi-Fi and Thread credentials with Amazon to connect compatible devices to your Wi-Fi network in fewer steps. So essentially, if you have a lot of smart home devices, or you're planning to add a bunch of smart home devices at once, that is where maybe this will come in handy if you're using the Amazon ecosystem, but it's only really good for that. And then Eero Labs. So this is where like their beta stuff is, right? That's usually what the labs is about. For same thing for like Unify, right? I think they have early access. Shouldn't be talking about that. Anyway, though, this is where you can enable. These are beta features, so optimized for conferencing and gaming. And then they have WPA3 standard that is in beta, and this is also where you can send some feedback too. Finally, last but not least, is the settings tab. So up here is where you can change your account information and sign out. They kind of buried that. This is where you can also have your products up to date automatically and manage your subscription for Aerosecure. And then here is where you can go and change your Wi-Fi name, really easy. Same for your Wi-Fi password. You can also just hold here to copy it if you forgot your Wi-Fi password again. You can also enable and disable your Wi-Fi network here as well. Network settings. So here is where it's going to give you your WAN IP, your gateway IP again. You can enable and disable IPv6. You can have your ISP settings here, and actually do your uplink through a VLAN if that is a thing for your particular setup. Dhcp and Nat settings. So depending on how you have this set up, you might need this. You might need to go and change these settings to have your mesh or your Eero mesh connect to your modem. You also have your reservations and port forwarding. So if you wanted to reserve an IP for a device, or if you wanted to add a firewall rule for your internet connection, if you wanted to port forward like a game server or whatever it may be. You can also go ahead and set your own custom DNS server here. Here's also where you can turn on and off UPnP. UPnP allows game consoles and media centers to open direct connections to other devices on the internet automatically. You may need this for some video games. It's also an easy way to port forward devices if you're not too tech savvy on it. But thankfully, Eero makes it pretty easy for you to go and port forward a port, so I would just recommend that. Alright, next thing here is your time zone. And then you have some functionality here for client steering, so it'll automatically move you to the closest Eero mesh unit. And then thread. So this is for your smart home devices. I'm not going to get too much into depth on what thread is exactly. This is also applicable. Oh no, this isn't for Zigbee or Bluetooth also, but it does have that. And then down here at the very bottom, you have your restart network if you want to restart all your Eero devices or delete it permanently. Alright, and last but not least is the speed test. So again, you should see my phone on the screen now, and we're going to do some speed tests from this Eero mesh router. I am probably about 1.5 feet away from the Eero mesh router right here. We're going to go ahead and just run this speed. Let's see what we get. I'm going to just make sure it has a nice line of sight. Boom. So we're sitting about 500, which in my particular situation, there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference around me from other people, but our upload is it touched a little bit over 650, but it sat around 563. So that, again, I mean, do I even need to do another one? Do we even need to do another one? That's going to be plenty for any phone, any laptop, any iPad, any Xbox console, whatever the case is. You blanket your house in these Eero devices if you have a large home. you're going to have great Wi-Fi everywhere without needing to run Cat6 cables. Now, if you do run Cat6 cables to each of the Eero mesh devices, obviously that's going to boost your speeds everywhere a lot better. The wireless signal between the main Eero mesh router and the satellite units, you drop that off. You get about somewhere in the range of 200 to 400 megs. But if you have a wired backhaul for everything, everywhere you go in your house, you could have 600 megabits up and down, which is pretty sweet. Alright, so I decided after the fact to actually do one more speed test, and this was in my bathroom, which is the furthest point away from where the Eero mesh was in my apartment here. It's about a 1,000 square foot apartment behind multiple walls, 2 walls, and right on the corner of the bathroom is like where the furnace is and all of that. And my Wi-Fi access point actually struggles to when I'm like using the bathroom, I'm using my phone, it has problems loading stuff. So it actually did a pretty good job. I had a good speed test. My Wi-Fi access point usually gets like, I think it's less than 100 megs in that corner over there. But the Eero was getting about 200, so I was impressed with that speed. All right, folks, that is it for the Eero mesh router here. Please leave in the comments. Tell me what you think about this product. Tell me what you think about this video. If you have any suggestions for me, anything you want me to review, please drop it in the comments. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Visit us at TotalTechWNC.com if you're interested in hiring us. And yeah, go pick yourselves up some of these if you're having Wi-Fi problems. I promise you, you won't regret it. Have a good one.